Hi, and welcome to the channel. My name is Amanda, and I share how I do this human experience as a spiritual being or through a spiritual lens. We're going to talk about the fall season today. The spiritual themes for the fall season in general are releasing. So much like the trees release their leaves this time of year, embracing transition as we prepare to welcome in the darker season, and then thankfulness for blessings, for the blessings of the harvest of our labor. I'm kind of just framing this discussion for you. Typical emotions that may come up this time of year are things like nostalgia. So as we think back over the past year and even perhaps further back in life, reminiscing over memories from some time ago, or even past lives may come up. And then another typical emotion that comes up is we may seek more comfort this time of year as we embrace the transition into the winter months. And you'll likely also feel like you're becoming more introspective and reflective internally. So thinking over and evaluating the past year, how perhaps we've changed, or what we haven't or have accomplished, or maybe what we still do want to accomplish before the year wraps. And that's why you could definitely feel a conflict or a pull between wanting to be active and get stuff done before the year wraps and wanting to actually start slowing down as we welcome in the winter months. So you might feel a little out of balance even. Over the upcoming months, I'll share with you how I navigate the fall season here on my social media. I would love to hear how you do it as well. Share your pictures with me, share your comments. I'd love to know what are typical things that you as a spiritual being does during the fall season to transition. So the fall equinox arrives on Monday, September 22nd, and we just had the lunar eclipse and the 999 portal last week, which, if you don't know, the number 9 is a number of completion in numerology. So there's just a lot of energy for us to work with right now in giving us that final push towards our goals before the winter arrives and the year wraps. So one of my personal favorite rituals this time of year is a major purge. I do a similar one in the springtime, and I'll share that with you when the time comes. But I literally go through my house nook to cranny, every drawer, every closet, and I touch everything in every space to make sure that that is something that still serves my most authentic self, and that I want to take that with me into the remainder of the year. Remember, we're preparing the soil now, just like you would prepare the soil and plant bulbs for the springtime to come. We're preparing the soil now. And this purge for me has become sort of a spiritual discipline over the years to get rid of stuff, declutter my home, rearrange our space just so it works better for us during the winter months. I have a small space, and so I kind of rearrange things so I have access to the fireplace and can do more fire-oriented rituals and things like that. So I clean my house physically and energetically. And a fun challenge that we take part in this time of year is to avoid the grocery store for some time. And we are only allowed to get, the rules are, milk, fruit, and veggies that we can get at the grocery store because, scurvy. And then from there, we only eat what's already in our fridge, our freezer, and our pantry. And I love this because it cleans out food from our home without wasting anything, and it cleans out that stale energy in the food space so that we can now bring in those root vegetables. So there are many benefits to purging in the fall season. And I want to share a few with you. The first one is, as we clean stuff out of our living spaces, I know for me, I seem to gain clarity, or like more mental clarity. And I think it has to do with moving that stale energy out of my space. If I've been contemplating a particular decision or a topic, I find myself suddenly just having a shift in perspective during this clean out process. It's also very meditative, right? As you clean out, and suddenly the answer is there and the peace is there. The second thing is when we release things that no longer serves our most authentic expression of ourselves, whether it's stuff, burdens, old wounds, relationships, stories we tell ourselves, beliefs, or mindsets, we literally and spiritually free up space in our physical environment and in our spiritual bodies to blossom in the spring. The third thing is when we give things away in a way that comes with the intention of being charitable or grateful that it was in our lives, rather than grasp onto things, because that cleaving, that grasping energy creates scarcity energy, and we want to give away. Then we also welcome in more things to blossom into our lives. So my kiddo just stopped playing with dolls, and what I love to do is when I give something away, I hold it close to me and I say thank you for what you've brought into our lives. So I shed a little tear when the baby doll had to go, and I said goodbye and I said thank you. And I love that because I feel it's such a beautiful way to release something with gratitude. And then the fourth thing is when we go through our possessions, our mental constructs, our spiritual and physical bodies, and we mindfully decide what we want to keep in our lives and what we want or need to release or let go of, we reclaim a sense of sovereignty, or that understanding that we ourselves and we alone own what our life looks like and what we want to have in our lives. Right? Only us. We're responsible. And then the fifth thing, we get the opportunity to realign with our values. So as we think about how we want to bring things back or where we need to pivot, so that we can surround ourselves with the people that we want to have in our lives, the behaviors we want to have in our lives, the beliefs, the stuff, and mindfully retaining what we truly feel still resonates with us. So if you need some inspiration to get started on this purging process, check out Tidying Up by Marie Kondo and the documentary Minimalism on Netflix. They're great watches. Be prepared, you may jump and start purging, but Marie Kondo says to start with the non-emotional things and then move on out from there. I found that for me, cleaning out photographs every year was the hardest, and it's gotten easier over time, but do I really need 15,000 photos in my cloud? No, I don't. So over the years, I've just chosen the ones that are really special, and now I can go back to those years and look at the pictures that was really special. So start with the non-emotional things. I find sometimes that going on a hike and just spending time in nature and seeing how nature shifts inspires me often to let go and, follow the cycles of nature. That's kind of naturally what my body and my psyche wants to do anyway. And then when I move around my house, another thing that I do is I'll get particularly mindful about my habits and the stuff around me, and I'll ask, does this align with who I want to become? Does this align with who I want to become? And it becomes sort of a mantra as I go through the fall season. And I can't tell you how many times the answer is no, and it's got to go. So I'll share more on my social media pages here in the upcoming days how this looks for us. It's fun. And I hope you'll share your fall journey with me as well, so we can go create this space. Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't done so, follow and let me know how your fall goes. I'd love to also learn from you. Take care.